Hello and welcome to DM classes. Welcome to another practice session on MCQs. So let us begin our discussion with the first article that appeared in today's The Indian Express dated 8th of April 2026. The article mentions about Jyotirao Phule's life and thought. So this topic forms the core static part in your history syllabus under social reformers. So we will take the opportunity and utilize this opportunity to revise few pointers and ideas of Jyotirao Phule, who was a social reformer, educator and a fierce critic of caste, and also he was a pioneer of women's education. So let's start by stating few pointers regarding the Jyotirao Phule's life and ideas. The first point is Phule criticized Brahmanical caste superiority. So he was against the Brahmanical caste superiority. Phule basically argued that Brahmins claimed superiority and treated lower castes unjustly. That's why he was against this. And he also attacked caste hierarchy and priestly dominance, Brahmanical dominance. And this shows he was an anti-caste reformer. He was an anti-caste reformer. And the second thing is, he opened school for girls and lower castes. So Jyotirao Phule also opened school for girls and lower classes. Phule, along with Savitribai Phule, opened school for girls in Pune. This is, they worked for education and lower castes by opening school for lower castes, along with the Savitribai Phule. The third thing is, he also founded the Satya Shodhak Samaj. He also founded the Satya Shodhak Samaj in 1873, which is called the Truth Seekers Society. Called the Truth Seekers Society. So in 1873, Phule founded the Satya Shodhak Samaj, Truth Seekers Society, where the main aim of this was to oppose Brahmanical dominance. The same things, they were against Brahmanical dominance. They supported women education, encouraged widow remarriages, they opposed child marriages, etc., etc. And this is what Satya Shodhak Samaj stood for. Let's now move on to the book that was written by Jyotirao Phule, that is Gulamgiri. So Jyotirao Phule wrote Gulamgiri in 1873, and in this book he compares caste oppression with the slavery. So it's an intellectual critique of caste. This all it shows that this is an intellectual critique of caste. And he also stood for equality and social justice ideas. Phule believed that all people are equal. All people are equal, and he opposed social discrimination on the basis of caste and supported rights of lower castes. Thus, he also carried social reform ideology. That's why we read him under the section of social reformers. So, having discussed these pointers regarding the Jyotirao Phule's life and ideas, let's now take an MCQ on this discussion. The question says, with reference to Jyotirao Govindrao Phule, consider the following statements. The first statement is, he criticized Brahmanical claims of caste superiority. Yes, this statement becomes correct as seen from the previous discussion. The second statement says, he founded the Satya Shodhak Samaj in 1873. Yes, also this statement becomes correct as we saw from the discussion that he founded Satya Shodhak Samaj in 1873, which is called Truth Seekers Society. The third statement says he opposed education for women and lower castes. The statement is factually incorrect as he was the promoter and he supported the education for women and lower castes by opening school along with Savitribai Phule in Pune. So this statement becomes incorrect. The fourth statement says he wrote Gulamgiri comparing caste oppression with the slavery. Yes, we also saw this from the discussion. This statement becomes correct. So Gulamgiri, comparing caste oppression with the slavery. So the question says, which of the following statements given above are correct? So the correct statement are 1, 2 and 4 only. 1, 2 and 4 are only the correct statements. So let's now move on to the another topic of the day. So this news appeared in today's The Hindu, which is mentioning about the delimitation process in India. So we will take this opportunity and utilize this opportunity to revise pointers regarding the delimitation in India. So what is delimitation? Delimitation is basically it's basically fixing boundaries of constituencies. Fixing boundaries of constituencies. And it is done for Lok Sabha and state assemblies based on the latest census population. So it's basically fixing of boundaries. But 545 seats. So these all seats, we have to draw the boundaries of these constituencies all over the country. So this is called as fixing boundaries of constituencies. It's called delimitation. So what is the constitutional basis of this delimitation process? On which this is based? Based on the Article 82 of the Constitution, wherein it says, the article says, Parliament enacts delimitation after census. Parliament will have to enact delimitation after census. And the Article 170 says state assembly seats readjustment. This is saying Parliament delimitation, and this is state assembly seat readjustment. Article 170. So the next point we will be mentioning is Delimitation Commission. This is very important. Delimitation Commission. So who appoints the Delimitation Commission? It's appointed by the President of India. Who appoints this? President of India. And also remember, this is an independent body. Yes. And these orders, the orders of this commission, they have the force of law. This commission releases orders and these have the force of law. And also they cannot be challenged in the court of law. These are final, they have the force of law and cannot be challenged in the court. So this is about Delimitation Commission. Let's now move on to the members. Who are the members of this Delimitation Commission? The member is, retired Supreme Court judge will be the chairperson of this commission. And other members will be Chief Election Commissioner and State Election Commissioners. These form the members of this commission. After this, we will be mentioning delimitation in India. So they were, 1952 delimitation was conducted, 63, 1973 and 2002 was conducted on the basis of 2001 census. And the next will be after, 2026. After that, there will be, delimitation. So coming to the freezing of seats, it was under 42nd Amendment of 1976. First time, there was a freeze till 2001. The number of seats, they were 545 today. So it was freezed till 2001. And after that, another amendment was done, the 84th Amendment of 2001, and it freezed the seats till 2026. So as of now, there are 545 Lok Sabha seats, and the objectives of this delimitation process is to give equal representation. To give equal representation, if this is whole country gets constituencies, there will be equal representation. To ensure there is equal representation among all constituencies, the delimitation process is conducted. Population based seats among all constituencies, there will be equal population. And to ensure there is a fair elections and balanced constituencies. This is all about the delimitation process and the Delimitation Commission. Let's now move on to the MCQ framed on this discussion of delimitation process. The question says, consider the following statements regarding the delimitation in India. The first statement says, delimitation is the process of redrawing boundaries of Lok Sabha and state assembly constituencies. Yes, we saw this statement is mentioned under delimitation process. It's the process of redrawing boundaries of Lok Sabha and state assembly constituencies. The statement becomes correct. The second statement says, Delimitation Commission is appointed by the President of India. Yes, the statement is correct. It is appointed by the President of India. And the third statement says, the orders of this Delimitation Commission can be challenged in court. As we just saw, the orders of the Delimitation Commission cannot be, they cannot be challenged in the court of law, and they have the force of law. So the statement which mentions they can be challenged is incorrect. They cannot be challenged. So the fourth statement says the present freeze on the delimitation is until 2026. Yes, this statement also is correct. As we just saw, the present freeze, that was amendment number 84th in 2001, it freezes the seats till 2026. So the statement becomes correct. Question is asking which of the following statements given above are correct. Therefore the correct statements are 1, 2 and 4 only. 1, 2 and 4 statements are correct. So with this question we come to the end of this discussion. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for joining with DM classes. Have a nice day.